Hey, this is IK. Welcome to video A closure is CallBack. And here is I have here asynchron function fetch post, and here is a classical visualization and the pattern of closure. In use effect, we have one function, here it is, and we have a calling of that function. Here we don't see, in use effect, we don't see any variable, but use effect create closure with read function. So in moment when function is created here, we create use effect here, momentarily it is create a closure with outer function. Here is outer function, use effect inner function, and use effect there is access post all state variable inside lexical environment. Lexical environment of use effect is here concretely all this state post, state show edit, update ID is loading. And now inside the use effect we have asynchron function fetch post. Here it is. We have a calling of that function, and it's all. It is one parameter, and of one parameter of use effect. Second parameter is empty array, what means that use effect will be called only one time, execute only one time after finished of rendering read component. About that I was speaking, and I can spoke about that a lot of time in the future. But now concentrate on closure. Use effect close function fetch post and call it, and call that function. It means that fetch post, this calling, is closed in use effect and only can be called from use effect. Use effect can only call fetch post, that inner function. That inner function is like a private function. Nobody from outside can call that, can access that. But that function, fetch post, lot of work with the post. At first, send get request. After that, response data, create constant posts. After that, set post. It is use state function. Set post, mutate post. And here is set loading also, mutate set loading. It is this fetch post function have access to post. With get method received all post, and it is a request. Request is get, but response is, after get, response is complete array from mock server, array of post. And that array of post, set post, it is mutate. by immutable way. And I concentrate now in set post. Mutate post, but how? Fetch post after would be activate, after would be callback, after would be activate by this calling, and this calling it is use effect. Use effect, how that inner function have access to post and mutate that state, the state of read component. Read component is outer function of use effect. It is possible because use effect create closure with read. It means use effect have access to posts, and because use effect has access to post, it means that this post is inside the use effect. It is use effect environment. Okay, it is use effect environment. Use effect can have access that lexical environment. But if use effect there is access to post, it means that it is post coming inside use effect, and the closed function fetch post can have access to lexical environment, and it is use effect. Lexical environment of fetch post inner function is use effect. Lexical environment of use effect is read, and post is, and the fetch post without problems have access with the post state. We spoke here about two closure. One closure is use effect and read, and second closure is fetch post in use effect. Use effect have access to post. We now spoke only about post, but use effect there is access to all this state. Use effect there is access to post state. Fetch post there is access that post. Because use effect there is access that post. We have two closure: use effect read and use effect fetch post. It is about this. It is about this closure here, and something else. Use effect is not called by read directly, but rules, grammar rules about JavaScript 6 means that inner function is like private function of outer function, and nobody can access to inner function. Only outer function can access to inner, and here it is excellent. Only use effect can call, and call it. Call this function fetch post. Here is declare that function, but somebody must call that function, and here is a calling of function. It is use effect, but who call use effect? Use effect must be called. No, use effect don't read function, don't call use effect. Who call use effect? Use effect call React construction, but use effect call something what component, every component have. It is life cycle of component, and event in that life cycle. There is a event finished rendering. Every component there is event finished rendering, and that event finished rendering call use effect. It means that something what oven read call use effect. It is like read call effect, use effect. And finished rendering, event finished rendering, life cycle of read, call use effect. But it is some detail interesting about philosophy about around that React, all React. Okay, it is one moment example of closure. All of this is callback. Closure or callback. Closure, there is two functions, outer and inner. It is closure. Inner have access to a lexical environment. Inner function, lexical environment of inner function is outer function. And inner function is callback function. Because outer function call back when a need, callback function, and it is that closure. Only outer can call inner, and how many times? How they need times? Call back. Because of that, is inside function is callback function. It means that callback function is always inside, but there is no callback function if there is no closure. Closure create two functions, outer, inside, inner, outer and inner, and that inner function is callback function. Okay. Use effect, call, here it is fetch post, call that function, and here is declaration of that function, here it is, and calling of that function, and it's okay. But now look at, I will speak about every of this, but all this function inside read is callback function. But look at now, here it is, this function, handle add new post. Handle add new post function. Here is a declare. That function would mutate a post s. How? With the copy of all existing posts and plus new post. This function must mutate by immutable way, mutate new array and of post, and that new array will be for one member bigger. This is new bigger. This function is connected with create new post. When we create new post, that post must be added to existing array of post, and here it is how. Create three dot means spread operator, and spread operator here is copy. This is copy of posts. And here is all is okay because set post is function of read. Here it is read set post. Here it is set post. Posts is a state of read. But this function handle add new post have access to set post and have access to posts because handle add new post is inner function of read function. And inner function there is access to outer lexical environment, in this, it is read. It is okay. But look at now. Create function. Create function, there is a form, and we in create function we look at here. We add a new post. In create function, we send, we post, send a request post to server, mock server. Mock server, software on mock server add that new post, add to existing array of post on the server, and send back response. In that response, send back what we send them, heading and blog post. And when it coming back in response data, it is with the function add new post, we respond with the function add new post, mutate post. What mutate state post, but state post is not state of this component create. State post, posts, is variable state of read, not of create. But here, in this row, in this statement, we update, we mutate by immutable way, complete posts, what is in other component read. How can post from function read can be mutate in component in function create? Does it nonsense? Because a rule or grammar rule said that only outer function, it is read, can call and can function read can only component read can mutate with function inside read can mutate oven state post. But now component create change, mutate state of read. It is also interesting combination. What we now know that it is possible. How? Create is a child of read. Here it is. Here it is. We are in a read component, and here is a create component. Create component is child, and child component in properties, in props, add new post, assign value function. Function handle add new post, and when we look, it is handle add new post. It is handle add new post. It is this function, and that function pass by reference. It means when we said by reference, it means that function is the same place in memory exists. It is one function in one single unique place in memory, and by props, it means by reference, pass to create, to component create. To component create. And practically, it means that we can, like properties from parent component, read, can by properties function, handle add new post, can go like properties, like reference, add new post is only reference to handle add new post, and pass to create, and in component create we use that properties, but it is like we use handle add new post. It is same. By these properties we use that properties on the create, but it is same because it is a reference to this function. And in create, when we said, when we have in create here, where we have add new post, it is same, it is practically activation of handle add new post. It is activation because you see here we don't see set post. We don't see here set post, only set post. Here is a set post in read set post. This is set post. Only set post can mutate by immutable kind, but that set post is here. Set post is here, and that set post mutate. How? Take copy of post, and that look at it is a square braces. Inside square braces is array. It is a new array with all posts, old post, original post plus new post, and the set post mutate, create new array by immutable way. Immutable, mutate by immutable way that original of post don't touch. Because of that, create a copy of post. That kind of immutable mutation is excellent because there is only because there is less bugs, and all data management in React is that we have less spaghetti code, spaghetti script. Waterflow from parents state go like props to child, and there is no back. Here there is some back action. We have child create by props. We use props for changing, for activate this original, reads function. Only that function can set post, can change state of read. Read, there is a function which that mutate reads state, post another state. Here is interesting thing how data call inside React, and how grammar rules that outer function can call inside function there is not black-white, but there is in concretely situation some variation, but variation that don't remove rule, don't create something bad to rule, don't cancel rule. Rule is satisfy rule that outer function activate inside function, and here we see some of example. Also in use effect is some of example when we see that read outer function is not activate, is not call use effect, but use effect is a callback function of read, of the read. It's callback, it means only read can call use effect, but not here is not, it is not directly, but it is something connected with read. Use effect is activate, is called by a moment, by event of life cycle, would have every component and the read component also, and it is moment when finished rendering. Event finished rendering calling use effect, always calling use effect, and will happen what we code, what we script in body of use effect. What will happen? Would be happened. Be happened inside use effect. We declare fetch post. It is finished here. Fetch post, and declare calling of fetch post. Declaration is nothing. Somebody must call that function, and here it is. Who call it? Use effect call it. It is this, and here is a constant handle add new post. We see that that function assign as a value to properties. Here it is. That function is assigned as value. Because of that is in JavaScript function and object is equal. Function and object variable, it's the same. When we said object, it is the same as we said variable. Is the same, is equal, and because every function there is a result. Every function returns something. It is object. What every function has something. Can something return, and that is object. And here add new post equal handle. It is assigned value. Add new post. There is a assigned value. It is properties. There is assigned value function. Here is a concretely value, but function value. Function value. It is object and it is function. And add new post. Look at now in create. In create, add a new post. Here is function. Always, when we spoke about object, we said there is object, there is a properties, and there is a method. Properties is object, it is variable, and method is function. But now, properties equal method. Here it is. Properties, read, properties, add new post. We always call that properties. Properties, we never call that method, but these properties, add new post, equal method, because handle add new post is method, it is function. But here it is assigning a value, and that value is function. We can assign value, we can function assign value. And add new post is function, is method. But we call that props. But it is method. Here it is in create. Look at add a new post, there is a parameter. Add new post is function here. Of course, because assigning a value was function. Assigning a value, there is one parameter. Let's go, what is assigning value? Assigning value is read, is this is this function. And there is a new post, there is only one parameter, and that parameter is object new post. It is heading and blog post. And heading and blog post is here. It is function. Go back to create. And here, add new post is handle add new post. Back to read. Handle add new post. Here it is. Handle add new post. There is one parameter new post. And in body, set post, mutate post by immutable way. Handle add new post. Here in create, we have add a new post. In the parameter here, we have data. We have heading and blog post. Data was coming by response. And it is, here it is same as here we write, but we can imagine handle add new post. Handle add new post. Because add new post is only reference to same function, reference to same place in memory. There is no difference between add new post is pointer, is reference to one place in memory, and handle, here is me, handle add new post is also only reference to same place in memory. What is it in that place in memory? In that place of memory is function, this function. It is generic, but when we calling of function, we have concretely parameter, concretely data. Handle add new post and add new post is reference to reference on the same place in memory. And after that, we see that is true that handle add new post is CallBack, but not directly from read. It is called by reference from child component create. Here is a child component create. It is something similar to construction of use, to situation use effect and read. Is not directly calling, read is not directly call use effect, but use effect was called by something what read is owner. It is life cycle of read. Life cycle of read, one of life cycle event of read, calling use effect, calling call use effect. It is event finished rendering of read. And also child of read, create, child of read. And if you look at create is also inside of read. It is something child means that lay that is incorporate in lexical environment of read. Read is a lexical environment of create. Pardon. Read create lexical environment for use effect. Also, read create lexical environment for child component. But child component create is not a closed function of read. What is also what is something what is contra rule of grammar, JSON grammar rule of closure. Because if create is function, here it is. If create is function, and it means that that function is inner function of read, but it is not like that with component. It is component, functional component, and it is for that we have not rules of closure, because component is separate block, separate component, because we create pages of React, we create by component, and component is something entire. There is oven inside, there is oven state, there is properties, and like that it is free. It is not closed. It is this construction that create is only child, and it is kind how we construct component together. Read component, and in the read component there is it is question of construction in React, and it is not a story about closure. Component with component don't relate as closure, even though they are function. They are functional component. What is in this in question of closure is not same as it is not same as function, inner function. We can child component is not inner function, and when it is not inner function, it don't create closure. But because of that, we have props, and we by props assign here a function, and we call that same function by this reference props, and it is that we must understand that is like that, and now we know how all that work. What is grammar rule for all that combination inside React? Component is component, and it is not. They don't create and don't make closure with the other component. But data go by props. State of one component can pass. State from one component can pass to other component only if that component in trees is branches below. It means there is a component parents and there is a component child, and only state of parents can pass by properties, by props, to child component. And like that we construct pages, web page from component. Like that. Because of that create is child of read, because I want that in the one page I have all create, delete and update and read. And it is read, because of that read is parent. Here it is. Here it is. Read is parent, because in read like parents, I give coding. Here I coding all. Here is a form for add, for create. Here is a table for read all post. Here is update, here is a delete. It is CRUD, complete CRUD. And all that I update is form. Here is a form, I update, form of update. And here is update. And all is on the read. It is administration of my web content of my my React application. All administration. I can add, I can update post, add post, or create post, delete post, and read post. Complete read post in this very interesting form table. Okay. In the next video, I show you callback or other callback function from read, and we see how that data go and how we activate, how we call that callback function. But for this video now it is enough. If you know somebody that like it, say them about this video. Engage. Your engagement means growing our community. Growing community means better learning for all of us. Subscribe, tweet, share this through your social network, and comment if you want, like if you like. And okay, I said again, engagement means all of that. Engagement means growing community. Engagement and growing community is better learning for all of us. Thank you for watching this video.